Hello, sixth grade. Today what I want to do is I want to go over making your final mascot idea. And I'm just going to give you some pointers that you need to think about when you start putting this together. First and foremost, guys, make sure you get a nice sheet of paper. I mean, this unlined paper, computer paper is working perfectly fine. If you got a sketchbook at home, that would be perfectly great too. But you want to start with that. Now, a couple things. You want to think about formatting this, okay? You could draw it vertically, or you could also draw it horizontally. Does not matter. I typically like to do vertical. I just think it looks a little bit nicer that way, but like I said, it's entirely up to you as far as how you want to do that. First thing is this, your mascot idea. Now, ideally, I usually have kids sketch out a few examples before they put the final one down here. So if you got like another sheet of paper, just take a look and see what mascots are out there. A lot of times kids go online, they check things out to kind of see what they can do to kind of implement that. And that's not a bad idea, but you want to go ahead and see what else is out there. And then also too, how to draw various things. And I'm going to kind of show you a few things that you can kind of add to this that may kind of help you out when you put this together. Now, once you get a good idea, okay, and it should be original, and it should be a mascot that it represents the area. I mean, it's something that maybe an animal that you see in the area, or perhaps even a tree, or something that happens in this area that you could turn into a mascot. So, for example, a mascot that I might want to think about, oh gosh, I know there's a lot of oak trees in Osceola at Oakie Park, so you maybe want to do a mascot of an oak tree. So when I go in there, I start thinking about that. I'm going to go ahead and kind of add in my trunk in through here. Add this up through there. It looks pretty good. Keep it nice and wide because I want to make sure I can get some eyes and nose and mouth in here too. And then I'm going to go ahead and kind of start branching up here. All right, put some branches in here. And I'm just going to go ahead and keep this nice and big. All right. Now notice I don't have a lot of, I'm having it go off the paper, which is perfectly fine. But I don't have a lot of space up here. Okay. So I've got this right now. I want to go ahead and start add some eyeballs. All right. And I do have a handout. I'll attach this into Schoology that shows you how to draw certain eyeballs and stuff like that, and how you can add the eyelids here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of add kind of a nose in like this. I've seen that kind of nose before. All right, and let's see. What do you think for a mouth here? I'm just trying to think. Well, you know what? I might just go with just kind of a simple smile. All right, boom, there we go. So there's my mascot idea. All right, a few other things too if I want to. I can go ahead and kind of add a few lines in here for the texture of the bark. That might be kind of fun to do as well. All right, so I've got my mascot drawn out. Now, two other things you need to make sure you have. The name Osceola should be at the top of the page somewhere, and it can go over the leaves here. And then also, what is it? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. Let's get the Osceola. And you guys, this should be done in bubble letters. Once again, if you're not good at bubble letters, make sure you spell Osceola correctly too. Look it up online, okay, to see how you can make good bubble letters, okay, and also practice. All right, get a practice sheet of paper, see what you can do. Now, I've been doing this a long time, so I kind of go pretty slick on this, but I've got that right there, so it's Osceola. And then I want to put the oaks. Now, I could turn it into like the mighty oaks, the old oaks or something like that, whatever you want. All right, I'm just going to call it the oaks down here. If you want to put another word on here, you can. Oh, let's see, A. All right, now what I like to sometimes to do is this, okay, is I'm going to turn my K into kind of part of a tree as well, okay? I'm going to turn into kind of this oak tree. I'm going to give it some leaves on the top here. All right, I'm going to put the leaves on the top over here too, so that my K kind of looks a little bit like it's a tree. Okay. Sometimes I like to do that as well. I'm going to go ahead and kind of add some lines in here. All right, so I got this kind of taking place. All right, boom, that looks good. So, got everything drawn out. Okay, it looks good. It's nice and big. It has the name Osceola and the name of the mascot down here. Then what I want to do is this. If you don't have a Sharpie at home, okay, you should get one. But if you don't have a nice Sharpie at home, you can use a black ballpoint pen. Okay, that usually works pretty good for outlining and inking as well. That works pretty decent. I want to get one that has a decent tip here. Okay, that one works. That one's a little bit better. All right, so I've got my Sharpie here. Then what I want to do is this. I want to go ahead and I want to just kind of ink every single pencil line I have on here. Okay, just ink it up. Go in here. If you have an area that's going to be completely black, you can go ahead and kind of ink that all the way in. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of ink that in through here. I'm going to go ahead and kind of add the nose, finish up the eye right through here. All right, get that eyebrow in through there. Maybe some of the lines. If I got some of the texture of the bark, I'm going to go ahead and kind of add a few lines in there. But I'm going to make it a little bit thinner. I'm not going to make it terribly thick. One thing I always tell my high school kids too is think about varying the thickness of your lines. Make them a little bit thicker in certain spots. All right, a little bit thicker down below here. All right, that just kind of gussies it up a little bit more, makes it look a little bit nicer. All right, also makes it look kind of three-dimensional, which is really kind of cool. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and bring it to the top here, boom. All right, now I wanna go ahead and finish up the rest of this, but I don't want this video to be super long. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of stop right there, and then also talk a little bit about adding some color to these. Now, if you have colored pencils at home, fantastic, okay? If you don't, get some. They're really nice to have on hand, you guys. You will be using them quite a bit, not only in this class, but other classes, but you wanna have something that you can kind of color your mascot in with. So I'm looking through these colored pencils, and I think I found a color I could go with. Okay, I got a little bit of brown here. Now, when you go and use these, you guys, one thing that's kind of fun is this. Now, these are a little bit pricier colored pencils. These are Prismacolors, and what's nice about them is you can blend certain colors together. Okay, but I always tell people too, it's not a bad idea to kind of shade with them. All right, we press down a little bit harder. Okay, it looks like you got a little bit of a darker shadow. Okay, and then you lighten it up. Looks like you got a little bit of a highlight. Okay, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of add this in through here. Okay, but also too, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to take, that was a lighter brown, I'm going to take a little bit of a darker brown, and put a little bit of a darker brown on the top of this. Okay, notice I'm just kind of blending this. Okay, darkens it up just a little bit more. All right, a little bit right in through here too. Ooh, that's kind of cool. All right, and it does, it creates a little bit of that texture. It gives a little bit extra, you guys, as opposed to just being one solid color. So it's kind of nice to be able to mix that. Ooh, you know what, I'm going to actually take, I should have probably sharpened these before I actually started this. Let's take a little bit of white. Sometimes white is kind of nice too, because then it kind of blends some of these colors together. So if I do have my highlight, I can go ahead and kind of add that in through there. All right, that's not bad. All right, got a lot more work to do on this, but for the most part, I think you guys get kind of the gist as far as adding a little color to these, making sure you get a little outline on there as well, and just really making these look fun. Okay, so we got that going on. All right, so I'm going to spend some more time working on this. I can't wait to see what you guys create with these mascots. Good luck, and make sure you submit them so I can get you that grade. All right, thank you.